This is an AT&T caller ID telephone model 972. This has been on my desk for at least 20 years. It was made around 2001. And the other day, I hit the line button and it was dead. So we will investigate and repair this phone back to working condition. So if this interests you, stay tuned. Alrighty, let's get into this. So, some of you may be asking why I have a phone like this in the era of smartphones and cell phones and all that stuff. Well, honestly, when I talk on the phone for any period of time, I don't like talking on cell phones. They're not user-friendly as far as I like a handset. You know, something you can put up to your ear and your mouth. And cell phone, I just don't find it comfortable. And my cheek always hits the disconnect button. So that is why we're going to look at this. So back in the day, phones, I don't know, prior to maybe the 70s, they didn't have any real circuitry in it, capacitors or boards or anything. But these newer business type phones, they have a caller ID deal and multiple line switches and whatnot. So there's got to be some kind of board inside of here that's got an issue. And today is a hot, stinky day. And the reason it's stinky is because Canadian wildfires up in Canada, I guess there's close to 1,000, they are putting a plume of smoke across the Midwest that is unbelievable. I remember wildfires in the past, like out on the West Coast, being, a little bit hazy, but not only is it hazy, it just smells really bad.
Mostly Maui Wowie, man.
Yeah?
But it's got some Labrador in it.
And it burns my throat. I don't know. Stuff like that usually didn't bother me, but I don't like being outside. And actually, if you look at my line meter, the voltage, AC voltage, 118 volts, that's pretty low. It's usually about 120, so everyone's probably inside running their air conditioner. But let's get back to the phone. So, I have a landline hooked up to it, and when you hit the speaker, we should get a dial tone. We get nothing. So, the first thing you want to check, and you'll find if you get into repairing enough stuff, that always check the power supply first. So, this has a 9 volt AC transformer, or wall wart, some people call it. So it must be, I would assume, maybe I'm wrong, it has some kind of DC conversion inside. Well, it would have to. This thing couldn't run all on AC, I wouldn't think. So here's our jack. So let's see what we got. And we got almost 12 volts AC going in. So let me reposition the camera, and I have to figure out how it can take this thing apart, assuming we even can. So I'll be right back. Alright, so on the underside, I guess we push these tabs Take that cover off, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. So we'll take those out. And some of you also may be wondering, well, why would you be fixing a 20-year-old phone? Throw it in the garbage, go on eBay or whatever, and get yourself another one. Well, number one, I like to fix stuff. And number two, I kind of have an adage of don't pitch it, fix it. And that, in the long run, saves you a lot of money. I don't know what something like this would sell for on the interwebs. Actually, just for giggles, I was looking around for some desktop phones, and there's IP phones that I think they hook directly to the internet. I don't think they have like a landline jack that a guy can use. So probably most of these have been thrown away. So let's see. Does this come up? Maybe there's a screw in the battery backup. For the love of Pete. Nope. All right. Let me closely examine this, figure out how to get the damn thing apart. All right, under the push button deal, there's a little rubber plug that holds a hidden screw. Wouldn't you know it? There we go. I can feel it coming loose. Little screw, and let's see. Holy cow, there's a lot of electronic innards to this thing. Crap. All right, I gotta pause it again for a sec. Holy Toledo, this is way, way more than I thought was going to be on the inside of this. I had to unplug that lead there so that top would flop down. But whoa, yikes. We don't have a schematic for this. So, but I assume it's an electrolytic cap that has failed somewhere. So our power jack is here, and this red wire looks like it comes and goes right to this area. And let me show on the close-up camera. This cap here is slightly bulged, and I fooled around with the camera angle. I can't really get a good angle, but with a straight edge across, you can see, hopefully, that cap is bulged a little bit. So our likely this is our power supply rectifier board, and I'm gonna have to find the screws so we can tilt this up and put a tester on that cap and see if it or how it tests. So let me get that set up. Alright, that was quite the pain to get flipped up. I had to pop out the power jack and the 3 line connections, so I marked the capacitors. Let's see, it's these 2 and these 2. The 2 big ones on there. So these, capacitor testers, especially in circuit, are not, horrendously accurate. But let's see what we got here. Ew. That's not good. Over 40 ohm ESR. That one 30 ohm ESR. So if you're above maybe 5 ohms, let's see what the value is on these. Well, let me pull them out and we'll retest them again and take a closer look. All right, for a project like this, the solder braid is, at least for me, a good method for removing these caps. And I don't think this is a two-sided board, so hopefully they will come out without too much of a rigmarole. There we go. And there she is. 470 microfarad, 16 volt. All right, let me get that other one out. All right, I got the one out, and sorry about the glare, but this tester, you have to hit the test twice for some reason, and that capacitor doesn't test as anything. It's open. Huh. So let me pull that other one out and see how that one tests. All right, here's the other one. See what that one tests. That actually tests a capacitor, 57 microfarad. So, yeah, you can see, hopefully you can see there's corrosion around the terminals on there. So, and I have to admit, well, this isn't fixed yet, but I pulled this repair out of my ass if this is indeed these 2 capacitors. So let's see if I can dig up a couple caps. So I do happen to have a couple caps that I think I can get to fit in there. These aren't Nishikon like I usually use. I think these are Panasonic. But let's see if we can put them in and see if it works. And if that doesn't fix it, this probably is going to be a lost cause. I'll be damned if I'm checking all 3,000 capacitors on that board. So let's see if it works after the caps are in. All right, the caps were too wide to fit in there, so I just have them temporarily tacked in, and I just have my finger holding the hook button. So let's give it a try. I'll be damned. Ha! Two lousy capacitors. Oop. And like I said, I pulled that repair out of my ass. I mean, if it had been something else, not an obvious bulge capacitor, that would have, I very unlikely you would have been able to fix it. But sometimes you get lucky and find something like that. So let me dig through my pile, see if I can find a cap that's going to fit in there, and we'll be back. All right, I used a little brute force persuasion.
That plug won't fit in a European outlet.
I'll make it fit.
And they're still sticking up a little bit higher than normal, but I think it'll go together. This transistor here, I heated the leads and tilted it over a little bit, and this one I just bent it over to the to the left there, and I think it'll be all right. So let me get it back together, and hopefully it still works. All right, real quick, I just wanted to show a close-up of the corrosion on the capacitors there. They just leaked out and went bad. That's what capacitors do. So I'll finish getting it put back together. Alrighty, we got it all back together and she still works. So cramming those capacitors in there, I think there was reasonable room height-wise for it to go back together, but it was a pretty tight fit. But as I said before, I pulled this repair out of my ass. No schematics. Was not expecting the capacitor entourage that was in there, a lot of them. I mean, it could have been any one of those. But no matter what you're working on that stops working, likely it is capacitors in the power supply, and that's what it was with this telephone. So the one capacitor wasn't bulged, and it wasn't bulged by much. Boy, I can't even really pick it up very good with the camera. But trust me, it was a little bit bulged, and just that little bit, I mean, that capacitor was completely open. So we lucked out, but I don't like to throw stuff away. If I can fix it, I do, and it ends up saving you a lot of money. Now I realize the average Joe probably doesn't have a container full of 470 microfarad capacitors that they can just pop in there to see if that was the issue. So, but when you see a bulge capacitor, that's usually a pretty telltale sign. And the fact that the other one wasn't bulged, I mean, just with the tester, we saw that that one was testing wonky. So, anyway, I hope this was enjoyable. Maybe you learned something, and like I said, don't pitch it when you can fix it. So, thanks for watching.